إذا الأمجاد قد عظمت فللأمجاد بانيها ومن يسعى إلى العليا سيدركها بما فيها ويبني مجده جذلا فروح الفذ يعليها ليصبح همة تروي عن العليا مغانيها.
Assalamu alaikum. Guys, welcome to another exciting year. 2016 hopes to bring the best math processes ever here at the ITV Math Show. I'm your host and presenter, Mohammed Kota. I hope you guys have enjoyed. Now let's just quickly recap what had transpired last year. Right, 2015 saw the birth of the ITV Math Show. And with the phenomenal amount of responses that we got nationwide with the orders for all our DVDs and then all the feedback that we got on our website as well as through our email, we've heard you, we've heard the public, we've heard your responses and all the positive feedback that we have received from everyone around the country. So once again from us here at ITV, we'd just like to say thank you to all those viewers who are watching the show, who are practicing, whether it's learners, whether it's teachers. There are so many parents over the age of 50 that are sitting and watching the show, enjoying the show. Some of them we meet and they say, we don't even know what you're talking about, but we're enjoying the show. And that's the type of feedback that we like here. Now guys, 2016 is a brand new year. Just to give you some sort of indication and information as to what is transpiring, what is going to happen for 2016, and what has transpired over 2015. Now, for this year, we're going to be airing grade 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12 on your on different days. You'll have to check our website, itvnetworks.tv. Click on the ITV Math Show to see the schedule of programming that will be aired and all the shows that will be aired on a daily basis, guys. We're going to be airing daily, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday for all the different grades, right? Last year, 2015, we only aired for grade 11 and 12. With the phenomenal amount of feedback that came from the public, requests for grade 8, 9, and 10, and that's the purpose of 2016. We've broadened the show, we've expanded the show, and we're going to be doing now the content from grade 8 right up to grade 12. So guys, I hope you guys have got your books and pens ready for another exciting, explosive episode of the ITV Math Show. Now, just before we get cracking, let's get started with what had transpired in 2015 in terms of the mathematical content. Now guys, you guys have written the exams last year and there was a national drop, right? There was a national drop in the mathematics results. That was all over the country for various reasons, right? Number one is that the new syllabus came into play, the CAP syllabus, which had incorporated many new topics, which sometimes educators weren't capable to deliver that content in school. Number one, that was the first reason. I'm not saying that's the only reason, but these are contributing factors to the drop in results. Number two, right, in 2015, we saw a huge level of increase in the level of difficulty of the question papers. The styles of the question papers had changed, and for those of you who wrote the national paper, you would be able to associate with this that in 2015 the grade 11 math paper 2 killed everyone because the style in which the questions have been set were quite different from previous question papers. Grade 12 papers, the prelim paper was a smasher, as well as the final exam for grade 12 in 2015. Now that's what we're going to be doing in the show. Remember, the show is continuously being updated, right? Our content is continuously being fed into the show, into our databases. We are upgrading our skills every time. So please stay tuned to channel 347 to the ITV Math Show to keep up with the latest trends in mathematics. Okay, guys, we're starting today with quadratic equations, grade 11. Now this year will be used, grade 10s can use this, grade 11s can use this, as well as grade 12s. But this is core, the core content of today's show. is directed at the grade 11s. 11s and 12s, you'd be using probably about the same content. We're starting with quadratic equations here, guys, and I've put down a host of problems here on the side. For those of you who have purchased the DVD pack, you will find similar problems that we've put here in your workbook in our DVD pack. For those of you who didn't order the DVD pack, remember you guys can order it at kwaymath@gmail.com, or you can contact us on the number that's appearing on the screen. Okay? Here goes. We're starting with quadratic equations, grade 11, solve for x. Every time we do quadratic equations, we're going to be choosing different examples, right? The content, the processes might be the same, but we are choosing different examples. So for today's show, we've selected 7 of them. Now, quadratic equations is broken up for grade 11s in different components. So let's first start with the first component, which you can put down. I hope you guys have got your pens, papers, scientific calculators ready, and let's get started. So this is your checklist for grade 11 and 12. So the first component that you would see, remember, this forms part of math paper 1. So we've got quadratic equations, your normal quadratic equations. Then we've got quadratic equations with fractions. And that's going to be our next topic in today's show. Hopefully, we'll try and cover as many of these concepts in today's show. Remember, all these shows continue from one show into the next. Okay? So if we don't complete everything in today's show, it will then flow over into the next episode. Okay, so quadratic equations, we've got quadratic equations with fractions. We've got by suitable substitution, which we call the K method. Right? Not named after K-Way, not named after my surname K. It's called, internationally, it's called the K method by suitable substitution. So it's called the K method of solving a quadratic equation. Then we've got completing the square. So you're going to be solving for x in a quadratic equation, solving for x with a quadratic equation with fractions, solving for x by suitable substitution using the K method, solving for x by completing the square, solve for x by squaring both sides. Please make a note of this. These are all the different. Now the question in the exam will not tell you solve for x by using suitable substitution. You'll have to identify it from the problem. The problem will give you indicators which method to use. And that's what we're going to do today in today's show. We're going to unfold all the different processes in all the different problems. Remember, each one follows completely different processes and procedures. Okay? And then obviously we've got simultaneous equations. And this is the order in which we're going to be operating. Right? Okay, let's get started, guys. We're starting with the first one, the first topic. I hope you've taken this down. Write it down. Okay, let's now erase. I'm going to start now with the first question here. X squared minus 2x is equal to 15. Now, guys, on this side here, you have seen this in grade 8. You've seen it in grade 9. You've seen it in grade 10. We're now into grade 11 and 12. Okay, so as we approach the end of our first segment, we're going to start probably with 1 or 2 problems. I'll give you 1 or 2 to do during the break. When we get back from the break, we'll do the memo and we will continue going through all the different problems. Okay, let's start now with the quadratic equation. The first one, solve for x, right? We've got there, solve for x in question number 1, x squared minus 2x is equal to 15. Now that's the question. When I put a Q here on the side, that's the question. In your answer, this is where you're going to begin. Now we know a quadratic. Quadratic coming from the word quad, quad meaning a square. So that means a square sign. 2 to the power 2, exponent 2. How many solutions must I get? I must have 2 solutions. Okay, so now, and the right hand side in a quadratic equation must always be 0. Must always be 0. So I've got a number 15 here. We cannot solve this quadratic equation with a number 15. We're going to take the 15 on the other side. So x squared minus 2x minus 15 plus 15 comes over as negative 15. Remember, the sign of your coefficient changes is equal to 0. Okay, let's break this up. Let's factorize it. Now, if you have the DVD and you still don't know how to factorize, go back to the DVD on factorization and work through and learn the processes. If not, go through all your, I cannot at grade 11 level teach you from scratch how to factorize a trinomial. I will explain it to you, but if you want further, more in-depth explanation on how to do factorization, take out your DVDs or purchase the DVDs or go to the ITV website. Go on to the ITV Math show, go to the topic on factorization, and then go through all the processes. Okay, so here we go, x and x. What are your factors of 15? What are your factors of 15 to give you a negative 2? Your factors of 15 is 5 and 3. To get minus 2, this must be negative 5 plus 3. Negative 5 times positive 3 will give me minus 15. And what is the sign of my last term? Negative. That's your check. You need to multiply the signs out to see whether you get the sign of the last term. So now that we know our factors are right, minus 5 plus 3. How many factors do we have, guys? Before we get to our ad break, before we cut for our ad break, x minus 5 is equal to 0. There we go. Or my second factor, x plus 3 is equal to 0. So x is equal to, solve for x is equal to plus 5, or x is equal to negative 3. Now that's a very basic example. You have seen this in grade 9, 10, grade 9 and 10, and obviously in the beginning of grade 11. So I'm going to leave you with 2 problems to do, not from here, not from here. So that was example number 1. I want you to do example number 2. X squared minus 13x minus 30 is equal to 0. I want you to try that one, and I want you to try x squared minus x is equal to 12. So there's 2 examples that I'd like you to try during the break. Guys, we're cutting for an ad break. I'll see you guys in 3 minutes' time, where we'll be going through the memo for these 2 questions. Enjoy your break. Guys, welcome back to the ITV Math show with me, your host and presenter, Mohammed Kota. We started in our first segment with quadratic equations. Just for those of you who have just joined us, we've done the quadratic equations for grade 11. This is the opening topic for every grade 11 in the country at the moment for 2016. Right, we've put down questions here on the side. I've given you 2 problems to do during the ad break. There's it. I've showed you the process before the ad break, and I gave you 2 to do within the 3 minutes. They are not listed here on the side. These ones we've just made up just before we went for the ad break. So I hope you had that 3 minutes, and I hope you got them right. Let's check the memo for these 2. Right. So these are quadratic equations. The right-hand side, always check that the right-hand side is 0. So we've got it. We've just got to factorize it now. That is a trinomial. That is a trinomial. So how do we factorize it? X and x. Now we need our 2 factors. What are the factors of 30 to give me a 13? What are the factors of 30 to give me a 13? So let's put it there. 30 and negative 13. And let's be stupid. Let's be silly, and let's say our 2 factors of 30, 6 and 5. Just choose 2 factors of 30, 6 and 5. Yes, 6 times 5 will give me a 30. But can a 6 and a 5 give me a 13 when added? No, it can't. That means the factors must be incorrect. Let's try 30 and 1. 30 times 1 gives me 30, yes. But can a 30 and a 1 give me a negative 13? No, it can't. So give me other factors. Let's try 15 and 2. There we go. 15 and 2 to give me minus 13. Yes, 15 times 2 to get minus 13. That must be negative 15. That must be positive 2. So negative 15 plus 2 will give me negative 13 when added. And negative times positive is a negative. And what's my last sign? Negative. So we know we are right. Just copy and paste. Minus 15 will go in my first bracket. Plus 2 will go in my second bracket. There's my 2 factors. Remember, it's a quadratic equations. What did I say? In quadratic, how many answers must you get? 2. 2 solutions. 2 roots. So x minus 15 is equal to 0, or x plus 2 is equal to 0, x is equal to plus 15, or x is equal to negative 2. Okay, guys? I hope you guys got that one right. Many of you are smiling. You got it right. For those of you who got it wrong, please make sure you check. Check the memo. Rewrite it. Practice it over and over and over until you can do it without anybody helping you. Now, guys, quadratic equations is so important. It's absolutely critical, because not only are you going to use it for solving for x, you're going to be using it in functions for the parabola. You're going to be using it in number patterns, the quadratic number pattern, in sequences and series. You're going to be using it in so many different facets of mathematics. So please, guys, if you do not know how to factorize, you're going to be in big trouble in the examination. So please make sure you understand these concepts and you practice on them. Let's go to the next one. X squared minus x is equal to 12. So now we got x squared minus x minus 12 is equal to 0. Remember, we take the 12 over. Right? We take the 12 over, plus 12 comes over as negative 12. Why did we bring it over? Because the right-hand side must always be 0. Very good. Why? Because it's a quadratic equation. And in quadratic equations, the right-hand side must always be 0. I will continue to repeat, constant repetition, so that these concepts are branded on your mind. So the minute you see a quadratic equation, you know that that bald shaven-head Indian on TV has been stressing over and over and over that the right-hand side must always be 0. Okay, so let's go. Let's factorize this. X squared minus x minus 12 is equal to 0. Let's break it up. X and x. What are your factors of 12? Now, if you are good at it by now, if you have been practicing on it by now, you can do this mentally. We know our factors of 12 is 6 and 2. But can a 6 and a 2 give me a 1 in the middle? No, it can't. So choose another factor, 2 other factors of 12 that will give me a 1. Must be a 4 and a 3. 4 and 3. I need to get negative, so it will be negative 4 plus 3 to give me minus 1. And negative 4 times positive 3 will give me negative 12. So now we know our factors are right. You can do this whole process mentally. You don't need to show this in the exam. This here is just the process to enable you, for those weaker learners, to show you how it's done. Now, we've got two factors. X minus 4 is equal to 0, or x plus 3 is equal to 0. Solve for x. X is equal to plus 4, or x is equal to negative 3. And there we go, boys and girls. We have now just completed the 2 questions that I left you with during the ad break. Okay. So we're done with this. Let's now go on to the second one. Right? We're going on to the second question here. I hope you've taken this down, and I hope you're getting them right. Now remember, these are basic, and we're going to be moving from the basic right up to the most advanced one that you could see in your exam. Right, number 2, solve for x. X into x plus 4 is equal to 0. Let's look at my right-hand side, guys. Does my right-hand side have a value? No. Is it 0? Yes. Do I leave it? Yes. Do I need to factor? Do I need to multiply it out? No. It's in its factors already. So I've already got 2 factors. So in your answer, remember what I'm doing here on the board. It's a copy and paste system, guys. It's a copy and paste. You take it from here. I'm not doing rough calculation. Exactly the way I answer it on the screen is exactly the way you will answer it in your exam. So now we've got 2 factors. So x is equal to 0. There's my first factor equal to 0. Or my second factor equal to 0. X plus 4 is equal to 0. X is equal to 0. Or x is equal to negative 4. And there we go, guys. That is my final solution. As simple as that. Okay, guys, we're cutting for another ad break. I'm going to give you a problem to do. Let's look at 2 examples. I'm going to give you one here that looks exactly like this. I tell you x into x minus 6 is equal to 0. And I tell you x squared minus x is equal to 0. Let's see within the next 3 minutes whether you can answer these 2 questions. Okay, guys, I've put 2 more problems that is not here from the question bank that I've given you here on the side. Let's see whether we can do 2 more examples that looks exactly like this type that you've seen. X into x plus 4 gives you x is equal to 0, or x plus 4 equal to 0, x is equal to 0, or x is equal to negative 4. Let's now look at another one that looks exactly like this. By now you should pick up the pattern. By now you should be able to, and that's what mathematics is all about. Looking at 1 or 2 examples or 3 examples, picking up the pattern and just copying and pasting the pattern with problems where the values have changed. Okay, so now we got x is equal to 0, or my second value x minus 6 is equal to 0, x is equal to 0, or x is equal to positive 6. And there we go. Now let's look at the next one. We've got x squared minus x is equal to 0. We need to factorize this. This is not a trinomial. So what do we do here, guys? What do? We need to factorize it. So the first form of factorization, as we said in our previous episodes or on the DVD that many of you have purchased, we need to use the highest common factor. Now my highest common factor between x squared and x is x. Take that out is equal to 0. So x times what will give me x squared? X minus x times what will give me itself? 1. Or you can divide each term by what you took out. So x squared divided by x is x. Negative divided by a positive is a negative. X divided by x is 1. So you can do it both ways. Right, there we go, fully factorized. X is equal to 0, or x minus 1 is equal to 0. X is equal to 0, or x is equal to positive 1. And there we go, we've answered these two questions. Okay? I hope you're understanding it. I hope you're taking it down. Let's pick up the pace and let's go through these two examples. So we're done with this type 1, type 2. Let's go to these two types here. Okay? I'm going to put them up on the board. Remember this type here. What is the difference between this type and the previous one? The previous one, the right-hand side was 0. In this one here, my right-hand side is 6. What do you think is going to happen? Okay? Guys, let's erase here. I'm going to put these two problems up on the board, question number 3 and question number 4, and let's see how well you fare with them. Right? We're going to be cutting for an ad break now. So question number 3, x into x minus 1 is equal to 6, and the next one, x into x plus 4 is equal to 21. Okay, guys, I've put these two problems on the board. Let's see how good you are. You've got 3 minutes. I'll see you guys after the break. Boys and girls, welcome back to the best math show. This is the best math show in the world. Guys, at the moment, I haven't seen another mathematics program that's aired anywhere else in the world that could come close to the ITV Math show. So guys, you guys are tuned into the right channel. I left you guys during the break. I left you with x into x minus 1 is equal to 6 and x into x plus 4 is equal to 21. Right, let's see. Now you know, grade 11s and 12s, you know, these are the questions you are doing currently in school. Most of the schools by now have just finished the quadratic equation. For those of you who have just joined us, we're doing the grade 11 content for 2016. So please make sure you've got your pens, you've got your papers, you've got your scientific calculators, and you are paying attention. This is a tutor in your house. This is a teacher in your living room or in your sitting room or wherever you are watching this. Wherever you are, please make sure that you stay tuned to channel 347 on a daily basis from 3:30 to 4:30 in the afternoon. Right, we left you with these two questions. Let's see whether we can get it done. X times x, x squared. X times, remember we're distributing. X times minus 1, minus x. Plus 6 will come on the other side as negative 6 is equal to 0. What has happened there, guys? You tell me what has happened. We have taken it from here. Do not, let me show you a common mistake. I'm going to show you a common mistake. So I'm going to write it here, mistake. And this is what guys would do. Right? Grade 11, this is what you would do. You would think that this is exactly like the previous one. You would say, like we did in the previous one, we said x is equal to 0 or x plus 4 equals to 0. What you would do, some of you, which is an incorrect method, you would now say x is equal to 6 or your second factor x minus 1 is equal to 6. X is equal to 7. You would think you were right. You would think you were right, only to realize that you got it completely wrong. And in your report, you would have seen Olympic circles next to mathematics. You know, the Olympic rings, the big zeros, right? Why is this one incorrect, guys? Why? Because my right-hand side here has got to be 0. You cannot equate the left-hand side if you have got a value on the right-hand side. So what did we say? The right-hand side must always be 0. That is why we multiplied it out. We multiplied it out, x times x to give me x squared, x times minus 1 to give me minus x, plus 6 came over as negative 6. And now that has become a trinomial expression. Now let's solve for x. Let's factorize x and x. By now you know your factors of 6 to give you a 1, 3 and 2 minus and positive there, because minus 3 plus 2 will give me minus 1 in the middle, and negative 3 times positive 2 will give me negative 6 at the end. So x minus 3 is equal to 0, or x plus 2 is equal to 0, x is equal to plus 3, or x is equal to negative 2. Right, guys, there we go. We've come to the end of this question. I hope you've got it right. Let's look at the next one. Copy and paste. Can you see? It's exactly the same. X, x. There's a bracket, there's a bracket. There's your x, negative 1, positive 4. That's the only thing that has changed. Positive 6, positive 21. So the process of unfolding this one would be identical to the process of solving the one on your left. So let's go. Let's remove the brackets. So x times x to give me x squared. X times 4 to give me 4x. Plus 21 will become minus 21 is equal to 0. Let's factorize that is equal to 0. X times x to give me x squared. What are your factors of 21 to give you a positive 4? What are your factors of 21 to give you a positive 4? Your factors would be 7 and 3. Plus 7 minus 3. Because plus 7 minus 3, positive 7, negative 3 will give me positive 4, right, when added. And positive times a negative is a negative, and my last sign is a negative. So there are my two factors, plus 7, negative 3. There are my two solutions. X plus 7 is equal to 0, or x minus 3 is equal to 0. Let's solve for x. X is equal to negative 7, or x is equal to positive 3. Okay, please make sure that you've taken it down. That is the memorandum for the two questions that I've given you guys during the break to practice on. Okay, let's go on to the next one. The next one looks quite hectic, guys. Let's do it now. These are your higher order questions for grade 11, and this will wrap up our first component of quadratic equations. The next component that we will be doing is equations with fractions, where we have fractions, where we're going to factorize, find the lowest common multiplier. So stay tuned and stay focused. Okay, let's go on, guys. Hope you guys are enjoying the show. I hope you have stayed glued to the show. Let's go on to number 5. Question number 5, solve for x. The question says 2 into x minus 1 into x plus 1 is equal to 7 into x plus 2 minus 1. Okay, there we go. That's question number 5 that I've put on the left. I will always put a question bank. The question bank are all the host of questions that we will be targeting during the show. For those of you who are good, I'm sure that once we've put up the question bank, you've already started working with it. For the more advanced learners, you have already started working with it and you are motoring through it. You're just waiting now for the memo to come up on the screen. Okay, and that's the spirit. That's where we'd like to get, that's where we'd like to be. Okay, guys, let's solve this one. We now have 2 into, we need to multiply this out. This is a difference of 2 squares. At grade 11 level, you know, you are familiar with the difference of 2 squares. So, x minus 1, x plus 1. So, we just multiply the 2 first terms, the 2 second terms. So, x times x, x squared. Negative 1 times positive 1, minus 1 is equal to, this is the law of distribution. We're distributing. 7 times x, 7x, plus 14, 7 times 2 is 14, minus 1. Let's multiply our brackets out. 2 times x squared, 2x squared. 2 times minus 1, minus 2, minus 7x, minus 14, plus 1 is equal to 0. I've just dragged everything from the right onto the left-hand side so that my right-hand side can be 0. Okay, let's simplify this. What do I have? I've got 2x squared, minus 7x, minus 2, minus 14, minus 16. Minus 16 plus 1, minus 15 is equal to 0. And there we go. We've got a trinomial. We've got a perfect trinomial, 2x squared minus 7x minus 15. Okay? Let's see if we can factorize this. Now again, this is factorization with a coefficient in front of x squared. Right? I hope you know how to factorize it. If you don't know how to, again I'm going to tell you, if you don't know how to factorize with a coefficient, go back to the DVD. For those of you who have purchased our DVD sets, go back to the DVD on factorization. Make sure you understand how it is done. I will go through it here, but I'm not going to go through it as in depth as we've done it on the set. So here goes. We're factorizing it and we're equating it to 0. We use what we call, right, we find out now. We put the number 2, the coefficient, and we put the last term here. For those of you who are familiar with the DVD, is what we call the Snowdrop Method. Right? The Snowdrop Method. 2 and 15 are the eyes, that is the nose, and the mouth is the -7, right? Eyes, nose, -7. That's your two eyes, 2 and -15, the big multiplication sign, and the -7 at the bottom. Now we need the tears and we need the snot. So the tears fall down. The tears are the factors. The tears that are falling from the eyes are the factors. Factors of 2, 2 and 1. Factors of 15, 5 and 3. Let's multiply. 2 times 3 to give me 6. 1 times 5 to give me 5. Can a 6 and a 5 give me a -7? No, it can't. So let's try, instead of 5 and 3, let's try 3 and 5. Let's try 3 and 5. Let's cross multiply now. 2 times 5 gives me 10. 1 times 3 gives me 3. Can a 10 and a 3 give me a -7? Yes, it can. This must be negative. That must be positive. Negative times positive is a negative. And what is my last sign? Negative. So now we know our factors are right. Those are our two factors. 2, 3, 1, 5. 2, 3, 1, 5. X times x to give me x squared. Which bracket gets the positive? Which bracket gets the negative, guys? Start from the two next to each other. 3 times 1x is 3x. I need plus 3x. I put a positive. 5 times 2x is 10x. I need minus 10x. I put a minus. And there we go, fully factorized. 2x plus 3 is equal to 0, or x minus 5 is equal to 0. Right? Let's solve for x. 2x is equal to -3. X is equal to -3 over 2, or x is equal to positive 5. Okay, guys, I hope you guys have taken this one down. I hope you've understood it. Don't stress. Try it. Practice on it. We're cutting now for an ad break. I'll see you in 3 minutes time. When we get back from the ad break, I will re-explain this, and I will re-explain the Snowdrop method of factorization. Guys, enjoy your break. Guys, welcome back to the ITV Math Show. We ended up before the break with this problem here, 2 into x minus 1, x plus 1. And as promised, I said I will re-explain it. I know many of you didn't catch it the first time. So let's go through the problem again to make sure that you're fully conversant, that you know exactly what is going on in this problem. Okay, so we multiplied. This was the difference of two squares. We multiplied out x times x to give me x squared, -1 times positive 1 to give me -1, 7x plus 14 minus 1. We dragged everything over, so I'm going to put a tick here. I'm sure we all understand that. Let's put another tick here. I've dragged everything over onto the left-hand side so that I could make my right-hand side 0. Collected my like terms, and it ends up in a trinomial. Okay, once we've got it into a trinomial, we factorize it. We've got two factors. How did we factorize it? What we call the Snowdrop method. That's the face. We put 2 and 15. Just let me show it to you quickly again. Let's just do it here, just so that you remember. It's important that I explain it to you, because the next two, remember, the next two, question number 6 and 7, are exactly the same form of factorization as this one here. So if you can't do this one, you can't do the next two. So I'm not just doing it to waste your time or to pass time, or we got nothing better to do in studio. I'm doing it because it's a concept that you need to understand. Okay, let's go back. 2 and 15 are the eyes. So why do we call it a Snowdrop? What is a Snowdrop? There's the eyes. That's the eyes. That's the nose, is a cross multiplication sign. And that's the mouth. Right. That's a Snowdrop. What is a Snowdrop? What we call here in South Africa a Snowdrop. He's always crying and he's got snot. Right. So now what we need to do here, Mr. Snowdrop, we're going to take away his eyes, and what becomes his eyes is the first term and the last term. So we've got 2 and 15, that's his eyes. We put a big cross multiplication sign in the middle, and the mouth is the middle term, -7. There we go. That's his mouth. Okay. What are we short of? We're short of the tears, and we're short of the snot. Okay. How do we get the tears? Those are the factors, 2 and 1, factors of 15, 5 and 3. Right? Let's cross multiply. Oh, we said 3 and 5. 3 and 5. Cross multiply. 2 times 5 gives me 10. 1 times 3 to give me 3. Can a 10 and a 3 give me a -7, guys? Yes, it can. What must the signs be? That must be negative. That must be positive. And negative times positive is a negative. My last sign is a negative. So now we know our factors are correct. Right. That's your first bracket. That's your second bracket. 2, 3, 1, 5. Can you see? There we go. 2, 3, 1, 5. 2, 3, 1, 5. First bracket there. Second bracket there. Okay, now we need to get x squared. So obviously the first term here would be x times x to give me x squared. Because 2x times x will give me 2x squared. We start from the 2 next to each other. 3 times 1 is 3. I need positive 3. I put a positive. 5 times 2 is 10. I need negative 10. I put a negative. There we go. Fully factorized. 2x plus 3 is equal to 0. Solve for x. 2x will equal to negative 3. Remember, we only want x on the left-hand side. Divide by 2. What we do on the left, we do on the right. So x is equal to negative 3 over 2. Or on this side, x is equal to positive 5. We've taken the negative 5 on the other side. We've got x is equal to positive 5. Okay, let's see the last two, guys. This is the last, unfortunately, this is the last segment of today's show. All right, so we're going to do the last two problems, and that's where we're going to wrap up today's show. Remember, in our next episode for grade 11s, we are going to be concentrating and focusing on equations, quadratic equations with fractions. So please make sure you tune in to our show on a daily basis. Okay, remember, we are airing this year for 2016, we're airing from grade 8 right up to grade 12 on a daily basis. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays from 3:30 in the afternoon to 4:30. Okay, Central Africa time. Let's go to the next one. X squared. 8x squared minus 2x minus 15 is equal to 0. Question. Answer. Solve for x. What we use, I told you, we're going to be using our Snowdrop method. So there we go, the eyes, 8 and 15. That's your eyes. 8 and 15 are your eyes. Cross multiplication, what's your mouth? Negative 2. We need the tears and we need the snot. The tears are our factors. What are the factors of 8? 4 and 2. What are the factors of 15? 5 and 3. Do not put your factors across. Remember, your factors are the tears. When you cry, your tears go down your face, not across your face, neither. It doesn't come diagonally across your face, neither horizontally across your face. They come vertically down. So when you're putting your factors, make sure that your factors go vertically down. Right? Factors of 8, 4 and 2. Factors of 15, 5 and 3. Let's cross multiply. 4 times 3 to give me 12. 2 times 5 to give me 10. So eyes, nose, mouth. Tears and the snot. We're only short of the signs. So to get negative 2, guys, that must be negative, that must be positive. Negative 12, negative times positive is a negative, and my last sign is a negative. So we don't think we're right, we know we're right. So this is our first bracket, 4, 5, 2, 3. So let's break it up here, guys. Brackets equal to 0. 4, 5, 4, 5, 2, 3, 2, 3. I need x squared. So this must be x and x. Because x times x, 4x times 2x will give me 8x squared. Now, which bracket? Which bracket? The question you need to ask yourself now in the exam. Which bracket gets the positive? Which bracket gets the negative? We can't tata my chance. We can't suck thumb and decide. Play, you know what we call inky pinky ponky. Right? You can't just say, okay, I decide that this one here is going to be positive, that one's going to be negative. No, there's a process in choosing. And what is the process? Where do we begin? We start with the 2 next to each other. 5 times 2x is 10x. We need plus 10x. We put a plus. 3 times 4x is 12x. I need negative 12x. I put a negative. Taken from where? Taken from here. There's our 2 factors. 4x plus 5 is equal to 0, or 2x minus 3 is equal to 0. Let's solve for x. So 4x is equal to negative 5. Remember, positive will go on the other side. You only want x on the side. We don't want 4 times x. We only want x. So what's the opposite of multiplication? Division. Divide by 4, divide by 4. Right? So x is equal to, remember the 4 and the 4 will cancel on the side. We're left with minus 5 over 4. Or, what are we left with on the side? 2x is equal to plus 3. Divide by 2, divide by 2. X is equal to 3 over 2. And there we go, guys. That is our answer. That is our answer to question number 6. Let's go on to, I hope you've taken it down. I hope you got it right. And I hope that you're practicing and getting the hang of using our processes and procedures. Right? Remember, all these processes can be used or must be used in your final exams, no matter which school, no matter which province you are in South Africa. Or anywhere in the world for that case. Let's go on to the next one, the last one. We got 6x squared minus x minus 15 is equal to 0. Okay? Guys, let's see. While I do a little bit of chit-chat to wrap up today's show, let's see whether you can get this problem done. Right? 6x squared minus x minus 15 is equal to 0. Right? Guys, we have come to the end of today's show. Unfortunately, fortunately, we've managed to cover all these aspects that we intended to cover in today's show. Remember, in our next show, we're going to be doing equations with fractions. They're going to be much more intensive, much more difficult questions than what you've seen today. Right? Remember, keep your dials locked into channel 347 DSTV. Right? I'm your host and presenter, Mohammed Kota, from our ITV studios here in Johannesburg. Right? Hope you guys have enjoyed this explosive grade 11 show on quadratic equations. Please make sure that you send us all your comments for suggestions, complaints, or even or recommendations. Remember our email address, itvnetworks.tv, or you can contact me direct on kwaymath@gmail.com. Remember, our DVD sets are also for sale. You have been seeing the adverts that's been played on ITV continuously. Our number that's appearing on the screen. You can contact us or WhatsApp me. Place an order, 081-706-3986. Contact us, place the sets, and get the set and get working. Okay, from me, your host and presenter, I'm going to leave you with this problem till our next show, where I will give you the memo, and we'll be starting with equations with fractions. From me, your host and presenter, Mohammed Kota, from our studio, our exciting studio here in Johannesburg. Time to love you and leave you. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
الأمجاد قد عظمت فللأمجاد بانيها ومن يسعى إلى العليا سيدركها بما فيها ويبني مجده جذلا فروح الفذ يعليها ليصبح همة تروي عن العليا